Transcripts. There is nothing more fun than reading an interview, right? Maybe not. Maybe fun's not the right word, but interview transcripts are useful tools. Not every project needs them, but when transcripts are available, it makes scripting and collaborating with producers and clients on edits much, much easier. So what exactly is a transcript? A transcript is the dictation from an interview that's been typed up into a document. And once that's been made, you can use text searches to find portions of an interview based on time codes inside that document. And there's that time code word again. Anyways, you can imagine how helpful that is when you have an hour-long interview, but you don't really want to scrub through all of it to find a 2-second soundbite. But how do we make a transcript? Well, after organizing an edit project, syncing any interview material that we need to, we then need to export a low-resolution video of the interview with visible timecode. As for exporting the interview, the only thing that we really need is quality in the audio. The transcriptionist typing out your transcript doesn't care how good your video looks, so don't even worry about that. Keep the resolution low for a small file size, and make sure to include a large timecode overlay. Some producers may even want clip names from the clips inside of the transcript to be overlaid on top of the video as well. Let's take a look at how we pull all of that together. Let's open up a sequence, and I'm going to drag in our full Emilio multi-interview. Okay, that's in here. And let's just change the sequence name. We'll call this Scramble King Emilio interview transcript. Great. Now, the first thing that we want to do after we've named our sequence is come in here and we want to make sure that our time code, the time code of this clip, we can see it starts at 33:17, matches the starting time of our sequence. So I'm going to grab this, hit start time, and type in 00003317. And now you can see that our time code matches the time code of the clip in here. So as we scrub through this, our time code of the sequence matches the clip. This is really important because the transcript is going to reference this time code. Now, how do we export this? Well, when we're exporting a sequence to be transcribed, we want to send the transcriptionist a very small file. The smaller, the better. The most important thing is that they can hear it. So we're going to make an H.264. And let's come in here and adjust our size settings. And a good place to start is about 360 by 202. Yep, that's good. Frame rate's fine. Field order's fine. Everything else here is good. That's going to take care of the file size. And we can probably knock the target bit rate down to, I don't know, 3. That sounds great. The smaller this number, the lower the quality, but also the lower the file size. Now on our audio, we want to make sure that our audio is really good. So I'm going to keep this at, we don't need 320, but let's knock it down to like 256. Okay, that's good. AAC is fine. And let's go over to the effects tab. Now this is where we add things like image overlays if we wanted to add a watermark like you see here, or if we wanted to add maybe the file name, we could turn this on, scale it way down so it fits, and you can move it, you can offset it somewhere around there if you wanted to add that to it, and you can change the size of it, the opacity, all that good stuff. You can also add your own time code. Now this is really important because whenever you're sending this to a transcriptionist, they also need to see the time code so that they can reference it. Or if you're using an online service, you'll need to see it so that you can offset the time code that they write and then adjust it on the back end. So again, we can scale this down, and we already have time code on here, but we're gonna scale this and put it somewhere in the corner. Let's just make this big one over here and put it over there. Make it big and legible so that you can see it, so that the transcriptionist can see it, that there's no question of what's going on. If it's getting in the way of the action, if that's important to you, get it out of the way. But in general, it's better to be able to see the time and not have to worry about that. So we'll move it around there and say okay. If you want to, you could make this a custom preset and call it transcription. Otherwise, this is how you make it. Then you would say export. Okay, great. We have an exported video that we can send to be transcribed. But where do we send it? Well, a quick Google search will give you a bunch of transcription services all over the internet. My favorite two happen to be rev.com and trent.com. Now Rev, R-E-V, uses real live human beings to type out the transcript, but it also has artificial intelligence options, or AI. Trent is completely based around artificial intelligence and does a good job, but it's does kind of miss in some places. Just know that anytime that you're using an artificial intelligence service to create a transcript, it's not going to be completely accurate. And depending on the project, that may or may not matter. One last thing about Rev is that they also provide handy services like closed captioning and subtitling. Hold up! I want to jump in here real quick to mention another AI service that I just stumbled across called Simon Says. It's similar to Trent because it uses computer learning, but it has a more robust feature set. Maybe give it a look if you're interested in using it for some transcription. Okay, carry on. I want to touch on some cool tools that you may not be aware of regarding transcripts. Transcriptive from Digital Anarchy and Avid Script Sync are plugins for Premiere and Avid Media Composer that will sync a completed transcript to a video file. For example, if you're in Premiere, you could open up the transcript, click a sentence, and then the playhead of your interview timeline would jump to that spot in the interview. It's an amazing experience and needed for anyone digging through a project with tons of interview footage. In the fall of 2020, Adobe actually let us know that on Premiere's horizon, we're about to have a similar service built into the program itself, so be on the lookout. Okay, so now that we have the transcript done, let's take a gander at actually how we're going to use it to edit an interview together. Before diving into the edit, I do want to mention a frankenbyte. Now, frankenbytes are fun terms derived from Frankenstein for cutting dialogue together to make people say things that they didn't explicitly say in their interview. You might think that that sounds a little unethical. Well, using frankenbytes is a common practice in the industry, and so long as what you're creating still holds true to the idea of what the person said, there isn't a problem. In many cases, frankenbytes actually help interviewees to sound better by condensing rambling thoughts and removing the ers and ums and that they might say. Now, frankenbytes only become unethical when you take a person's words out of context or mix them around so that they say things that you know they wouldn't agree with. So don't do that. As a courtesy, it's good practice to let the subject of an interview see at least their portion of a video before it goes public. That way they can let you know if there's anything in the edit that you made them say that they take issue with. Okay, so let's edit an interview. So before we jump into the paper cut, I do want to tell you this is going to be a long tutorial. I'm going to be doing a lot of cutting. It's going to be kind of slow to watch, but I promise you're going to learn something if you watch the whole thing. So maybe go to the bathroom, grab a coffee, and come back and watch this when you're ready. Okay, let's look at learning how to actually A-roll or do a paper cut of a script that was provided to us by a client, producer, or even yourself. So the first thing I want to do is actually look at this script. In order to do the A-roll, we're going to need two things. We're going to need the script that we were given, as well as the transcript that we had made of the interview that we sent off to the transcriptionist. Why? You'll see when we go through the script. So looking at the script, I want to point out a few things. This is a format that is pretty typical inside of the media world. You have a script that's broken down with the left and right side, where the left side has interview sound bites that we're going to cut into our timeline, where on the right side, the producer or the client has gone through and made annotations or comments about what they want to see in the video at that time. Like, this is when the intro should start, or we want the open to start with no music, or, here's a good place for a montage, here's another place for a montage, things like that. Now, if we look at the actual interview bites, there's some funny stuff going on here. Sorry about that. Okay, so there's some funny stuff going on here. First, we have our time code. Now, the time code is in reference to the transcription time code that we had made of the interview that we had transcribed. That was a lot of words to say. This time code matches what's in this transcription. Now, the other thing that you'll see is we have these forward slashes, and this might be something that old producers of mine might have used, but it's also something that I think makes a lot of sense. So anytime you see these forward slashes, that means that we're going to cut two parts of a sentence together. We're going to make the frankenbytes that we spoke about. So like this first bite, everybody likes to win, but I think what motivates me most is those are coming from two different parts of the sentence. Now, sometimes those two things can come from two totally different parts of the interview, like this. So we're going to jump forward, 6 seconds. If we look further down into the transcript, we have a period where we're going from 2:36 to 23:43 and things like that. Those time codes are going to give you the rough marks to go listen to the interview and find the bites that you see in the script. All right, that covers just about everything. I think it's time to dig in. So what we want to look at in Premiere is how our project is set up so that we can edit this the most efficiently. So the first thing, we have our working interview sequence that we use to create our transcript. So I'm going to take this and open it up. Now, to make this really useful, I'm going to drag this to the bottom of my window so that I can have two sequences open at the same time. Then we can use Alt-Tab and jump over to our PDF to go through this. Now, personally, I like to work with a second monitor or have this up on an iPad or maybe even another computer or like a laptop next to me so that I don't have to constantly switch between screens. I'm going to put it on this same screen just so that we can see what we're working with. So let's start at the beginning. 757, everybody likes to win. And let's go ahead and read this whole byte so that we know what we're looking for. Everybody likes to win, but I think what motivates me the most is I'm trying to prove a statement. Okay, so we'll jump into our working interview and I'll type 757 with 2 zeros at the end to jump to 7 minutes and 57 seconds into the interview. Now you have to do that on a keyboard that has a number pad. If you're trying to use the numbers at the top of the keyboard, it won't work. I'll mark an N just to know where I'm at, and let's play.
But I think what motivates me the most is, I like to, of course, everybody likes to win. However, I'm trying to prove a statement or I'm trying to improve myself on a daily basis. Like if I want...
Okay, so I believe that's everything that we need. So I marked an in point and an out point, hit Control-C to copy this section of the interview. And it's going to copy that section of the interview, 1, because that's the only thing in this timeline, but 2, because our track targets are set to video 1 and audio 1. So again, hit copy, jump into this sequence, and I'm going to say paste. And now we'll zoom in and we're going to go byte by byte in order to build out this part of the transcript, or this part of the script. So everybody likes to win. Let's start with that.
But I think what motivates me the most is, I like to, of course, everybody likes to win. However,
now, so this is something that you kind of have to take. Now, he's not talking in a complete coherent sentence. So sometimes when you're going through these scripts, the producer wants us to start with everybody likes to win. But there's a chance that if they haven't actually listened to this interview and they've only read it, it's not going to work exactly the way that they want it to. So this is up to you to use your creative discretion in order to make this sound cohesive and keep the same sentiment that the producer wants. So I think what we could do is say, I like to win, and see what goes from there.
I like to, of course, everybody likes to win. However,
I like that there's a little bit of a pause because it slows down his fast speaking. So let's cut this.
I like to, of course, everybody likes to win. I like to win. I like to win. However, I like to win. However, I like to like to win. However,
now I'm going to add a short dissolve there to help kind of mix these two segments of the interview together. A lot of times that will clean up the bumps that you hear when you're making frankenbytes.
Like to win. However, like to win. However, like to win. However, like to win. However, I like to win. I like to win. However, I like to win. However,
and all I'm doing here is trying to massage this edit
like to win. However,
until I get it to sound the way that I think is the most clean.
Like to win. However, I to win.
All right, so let's listen to that. I'm going to add a short transition here to cut off this word.
Oh, I like to win.
Perfect. I like to win. So let's start with that. And I'm going to move this over here. Hit Control while you're dragging, and that's going to push your clips down the timeline.
I like to win.
Okay. And from that, we're going to go into, but I think what motivates me most is I'm trying to prove a statement.
However, I'm trying to prove a statement. However, I'm trying to prove a statement, or I'm trying to prove a statement.
All right, now this guy does a bad job of connecting sentences, so he doesn't finish his complete thoughts. It's on you as the editor to try to make that sound as if it's a complete thought. Or if you can't, you need to find another byte that you can make it sound coherent, like you would normally hear when somebody's speaking. A lot of times you can accomplish this by just adding some small fades to the end of words.
Statement.
Like that.
Or I'm trying to improve myself on a daily basis. Like if
I like that. I'm
trying to improve. Or I'm trying to improve myself on a.
You know, I think I'm actually going to let this roll through.
Prove a statement, or I'm trying to improve myself on a daily basis.
Actually, let's bring that back out.
I'm trying to prove a statement, or I'm trying to improve myself on a daily basis. Like it's a daily basis.
Perfect. Bring that back down. So what do we have?
But I think what motivates me the most is, but I think what motivates me,
I like this. What motivates me the most is real nice. Make sure we keep that.
What motivates me the most.
Too much of a fade.
What motivates me the most is.
Let's pull this out just a hair.
What motivates me the most is, you know, I'm trying to prove a statement, or I'm trying to improve myself on a daily basis. Or what motivates me the most is, or I'm trying to improve myself.
And a lot of times what I'll do if I don't want to transition to but right up into an edit is I'll add a frame or two on the video layer just to keep this little gap between those two pieces of audio.
Is I'm trying to improve myself on a daily basis.
So similar thing here.
Daily basis. I'm trying to prove a statement.
Let's see.
I like to win. What motivates me the most is I'm trying to improve myself on a daily basis.
So something that I don't like as I'm listening to this.
I'm trying to prove a statement.
He ends on an upbeat when he's saying, I'm trying to prove a statement. So instead of going down, he goes up, and that's not how a regular speech pattern would work. So it's going to sound weird to the viewer whenever they're watching this video. So I actually think I'm going to get rid of this piece of the interview.
What motivates me the most is I'm trying to improve myself on a daily basis. I like to win. I like to win. I'm trying to improve myself on a daily basis.
All right, so I think we're going to reorder this just a little bit. So we're going to start with what motivates me the most.
What motivates me the most is I like to.
So let's get rid of that little pop at the beginning.
I'm like to win.
And you can hear a little bit of a from the H that he's saying here in the next word. So I'm going to back this up one and see if that sounds okay.
Like to win. I'm trying.
See, now it sounds cut off. So you've got to find a good compromise there. So instead of one frame, I'm going to make this a 2-frame dissolve.
Like to win. I'm trying.
Maybe a 3-frame.
Like to win. I'm trying to.
It's much better. All right. So
what motivates me the most is I like to win. I'm trying to improve myself on a daily basis.
All right. I think we can work with that. So let's jump back to our script. While we're looking at this, one thing to keep in mind, actually, let's go back over here. So one thing to keep in mind is as you're building this, this is either going to be the edit that you are going to work on in the future, or it's going to get passed to another editor. So you're going to A-roll this, you're going to paper cut this, and give it to another editor. So with that in mind, you need to build these little tiny breaks so that it's easy for an editor to come in and grab clips and move them. If they're all connected, it's not as easy to move things around. So keep that in mind as we're building these clips. This is especially important when we go from section to section. So like this is kind of the very beginning. We're about to jump into an intro montage, and then we'll go into kind of the meat of our video. Make sure we keep where these bigger gaps are in between the text. You want to break those up inside the sequence as well so that the editor knows where they're at when they start making this into an actual video. All right, so up next, I had anger issues when I was younger. I had been playing soccer for, all right, we have this crossed out because this guy says you know a lot in between his sentences. If we can, we want to clean him up so that it sounds better as he talks. Sometimes that's not possible to do, but when it is, you need to make the person that you're cutting into this video sound as good as they can. So I had anger issues when I was younger. Let's start at 233 and let's see, it looks like we're gonna actually start at 222 for this whole byte. So let's start there and pull it through like 240 or something. See what we get. So years before that, and I felt like I needed something else to exert my energy. So I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go 22200. That'll jump to 2 minutes and 22 seconds.
I started jiu-jitsu back when I was 14, and at the time I started
Now, something I like to do to get through this faster is when I play back interviews and I'm editing them into a piece, I'll actually play them back at double time. So I'll hit the L key to go forward, and then I'll hit the L key again so that it goes twice as fast.
I had a few different issues when I was younger, I guess more with the anger issues, and I felt like I needed something else to exert my energy. I felt like jiu-jitsu was one of the biggest things that I needed to try out.
So it's a little hack, but it helps you move a lot faster when you're actually in the editing process because at 2 times the speed, you can still understand what the person is saying. So again, I copied this section and jumped into my Scramble King edit and hit paste. And now we can cut this how we want it.
I started jiu-jitsu.
And let's see this. I had anger issues when I was younger and I had been playing soccer for, years before that and felt like I needed something else to exert my energy.
I started jiu-jitsu back when I was 14, and at the time I started because I'd been playing soccer for years before that, and I wanted to do something different. I had a few different issues when I was younger. I guess I had a few different issues when I was young. I had a few different issues when I was younger, I guess more with the anger. I had a few different issues when I was younger, I guess more with the anger. I had a few different issues when I was younger, I guess more with the anger. I had the anger issues and have different issues when I was doing issues with the anger issues. I had the anger issue. I had a few different I had the anger issue. I had the anger issue. I had the anger issues and I had the anger issues and different issues and different issues. The anger issues and issues. I had the anger issues. I had the anger issues when I was young.
Let's get rid of that.
I had the anger issues when I was younger, I guess more with.
That sounds pretty good. I had anger issues when I was younger. I had been playing soccer.
I had been playing soccer. I had the anger issues when I was younger, I guess more when I was younger.
So a lot of times what I like to do whenever we have 2 words that sound similar butting up next to each other he's starting the word I at the end of this clip, and he's beginning it at the start of this clip. So I want to merge those two I's together so that they sound as close to a single word as possible.
Younger, I'd been playing.
You can hear there's a little gap there, and we can actually see it in the audio waveform. And let's give that a transition.
I was younger, I'd been playing soccer.
That sounds pretty good.
I had the anger issues when I was younger. I'd been playing soccer for...
Now, one of the things I'd like to do with this guy, because he talks so fast and just continues and continues, is I want to think about pacing. So I'm actually going to try to space this out a little bit so that we can slow him down and make it more digestible. So let's just add 6 frames for now.
Yep, I was younger.
So right there is the end of him saying younger. And I'm going to give this just a slight fade at the tail of that clip.
When I was younger, I'd been...
Now you can hear that it kind of dipped off right there. I'm going to add just one more frame and see if that helps.
I was younger, I'd been playing soccer for...
See?
I had the anger issues when I was younger. I'd been playing soccer.
So it's a slight difference. There's only a 5 frame or so gap right there, but it just slows down his pace enough that it's a lot easier to comprehend and understand.
I had the anger issues when I was younger. I'd been playing soccer for, you know, years before that, and I wanted to do something years before that.
Let's see, I've been playing soccer for years before that and felt like I needed something else to exert my energy.
And I wanted to do something, I felt like I needed something else to exert. I felt like I needed, and I felt like,
All right, there's an and that we can take.
and I felt like I needed some.
Oops. Control Z, it's your best friend.
Years before that, and I felt like I needed. Years before that, and I felt like, you know, years before that, and I felt like I need.
Let's do that.
Years before that, and I felt like,
Ooh, close. It's got a weird thing going there.
you know, years before that, and I felt like. Years before that, and I felt like I needed something else.
It's not bad. I might give it 2. Is that where we just were?
Years before that, and I felt like.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Or, you know, years before that, and I felt like I needed something else to exert.
It's real close. Let's push this down.
For that, and I wanted to do something for that.
So there's a little bit of an and right there. It rolls into another word.
I felt like I needed.
So let's grab this and see if that'll work.
Or, you know, years before that, and I felt like I needed some. You know, years before that, and I felt like I needed something else. Before that, and I felt like I needed something else. Years before that, and I felt like I needed something else. Years before that.
I might try this. Let's just get rid of and see if this works okay.
For, you know, years before that, I felt like I needed something else.
That'll work. Okay, let's see what we have here.
I had the anger issues when I was. The anger issues.
I think we're going to move this down one. I'm going to grab this, pull it.
I had the anger issues when I was younger. I'd been playing soccer for, you know, years before that. I felt like I needed something else to exert my energy, and I felt like jiu-jitsu was one of the biggest things that.
Okay, so he stutters right here. We want to clean that up.
Energy, and I felt like energy, and I felt like jiu-jitsu.
A lot of times what you'll want to do here with these transitions, sometimes you'll hear a pop whenever the cursor goes over or whenever the playhead goes over a cut. Even just adding a 1-frame transition, a lot of times will take care of that little pop that you hear.
My energy, and I felt like jiu-jitsu was one of the biggest.
Now, if you're going along in your own edit and you can't hear when you scrub, I have my keys mapped to Shift S, where it'll turn off scrubbing. But you can run up to your edit preferences if you don't want to do this and go to audio And in your preferences, you can select play audio while scrubbing. Now, the nice thing is if you have this added to a hotkey like Shift S like I do, you can just toggle this without having to jump into your preferences every time.
My energy, and I felt like jiu-jitsu was one of the biggest things. Jiu-jitsu was one of the biggest things that I needed to try out. That's big things that was one.
Let's just copy.
One of the biggest things that I needed to try out.
Okay, great. That sounds good. All right, we'll just move this here. This was.
I started jiu-jitsu back when I was 14.
We don't need this chunk. These are our bytes that we're interested in. And again, leave this big gap because we know that's where our intro should start. All right, so jumping to 2343.
My name's Emilio Hernandez. I train out of Tennessee Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy here in Spring Hill, Tennessee. My name's Emilio Hernandez. I train out of.
And again, just getting rid of those uhs. Want to make him sound as good as possible.
I train out of Tennessee Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy here in Spring Hill, Tennessee.
Okay, so that'll go into a quick montage, and let's go into my nickname is Scramble King, back to 432. Okay, so my nickname is Scramble King. I got that from scrambling out of positions and being very mobile when I'm rolling.
My nickname is Scramble King. I got that from the way I compete. My nickname is Scramble King. I got that from the way I compete. I'm very big about scrambling out of positions and being very mobile when I'm rolling. My nickname is Scramble King. I got Scramble King. I got that from.
So it kind of stutters here on this I. We could go and find another I. I'm just going to move this and try to clean up that little transition there. And just a quick little tip. Since these
I got that from
words are so close together, you can actually roll this B part of the transition, the video, on top of that, and nobody will ever know the difference.
I got that from the way I compete. The way I from the way I compete. From the way I compete, I'm very big about scrambling out of positions and being very mobile when I'm rolling. Very big about scrambling out of positions and very big about from scrambling out of positions and being very mobile when I'm rolling. I got that from scrambling out of position. From scrambling out of positions and from scrambling out of position. I got that from scrambling out of position. That from scrambling out of positions and being very mobile when I'm rolling.
All right, moving on. So I've received that nickname from a few friends that I've met over the years competing in Houston. It's very much stuck ever since. So 344 and jumping to 433. Interesting.
I received that nickname from a few friends that I've met over the years competing in Houston.
Just a slight gap there to keep these two thoughts separated.
When I'm rolling, I received that nickname.
I'm gonna ease into that I.
Rolling. I received that nickname from a few friends that I've met over the years competing in Houston. My nickname is Scramble King.
I'm gonna squeeze these together a little bit.
I got that from scrambling out of positions and being very mobile when I'm rolling. I received that nickname from a few friends that I've met over the years competing in Houston.
Now I'm find 43300.
King. I got that from the way I compete. I'm very big about scrambling out of positions and being very mobile when I'm rolling. And a few guys came up with the nickname. It's pretty much mobile when I'm rolling and being very mobile in positions and being very mobile when I'm rolling. And a few guys came up with the nickname. It's pretty much stuck ever since.
All right, I'm going to grab a bigger chunk of this interview than we need right here. And the reason why is because at the end, when he says,
very much stuck ever since. Nickname, it's very much stuck ever since. Came up with the nickname, it's very much stuck ever since.
I'm thinking he needs a better and right there.
And being very mobile. And being very. It's very much. Years competing in Houston, then bam, it's very much stuck. Then bam, then it's very much stuck ever since. Then it's very much stuck ever.
Maybe not.
Nickname, it's very much stuck ever since.
I think we need to go find another and.
The nickname, it's very. A nickname is Scramble King. I got that from scrambling out of positions and being very mobile.
There's a good one. So I'm just going to copy this chunk and put it right. Whoa, not what we wanted.
Then the nickname is very much nickname. Then it's very much stuck ever since. Being in Houston, then it's very much stuck ever since.
Struggling with this one. It's very much stuck ever since. Doesn't sound quite right.
Then it's very much stuck ever since.
The way he says it.
It's very much stuck ever since. Then it's very much stuck ever since. Then being very mobile when I'm.
Okay, I don't like that one.
It's very much stuck.
Maybe that works by itself.
Houston, it's very much stuck ever since. From a few friends that I've met over the years competing in Houston, it's very much stuck ever.
Let's give a big gap to this. I'm gonna add maybe bring that backwards 1. Grab this and say 1.
Houston, it's very much stuck ever since.
All right, and I'm gonna leave that gap right there. I think that will work.
Houston, it's very much stuck ever since.
Okay, I think we're good. And moving on. So, it's ever since. Okay, so we go to a quick roll. All right, 451. I like to start from the standing position and then, getting a dominant position on top. All right, so 451, 451, 00. Let's move our endpoint.
I like to, of course, start from standing and working to the takedown. I do like to, work from the standing position and then, getting the dominant position on top. But I would like to say a lot of my style does have to do with a lot of like moving pretty quickly, but also just scrambling out of different positions.
Okay, so we'll take that chunk and let's go cut it down.
I like to, of course.
So we've got a bit of an S right there that I want to cut off, so I'm going to ease into that I.
I like to, of course, start. I like to, of course, start from standing and working. Of course, I like to
get rid of that. Of course, so I like to start from the standing position and then, getting a dominant position on top.
Of course, start from. I like to start from standing.
Let's scoot that over 1. We'll slip it.
To start from standing.
And maybe give it one of these.
Start from standing and working to start from standing and working to the takedown. I do like to work from the standing position.
All right, so he says, I like to start from the standing position.
Work from the standing position. To start from the standing position and then, getting the dominant position on top. From standing and working.
I like this from a little bit better, so I'm going to leave that one in there.
To start from standing position and then, getting the.
All right, a lot of times what I like to do, when we have a lot of these cuts together where we're making this frankenbyte, we know that we're going to need to cover this up. So just to help us as we edit, I'll just disable those clips. I'll leave the audio enabled, but disable the video clip itself.
I like to start from standing position and then, getting the dominant position on top.
It's a mental trick. It's a mental trick because a lot of times when you watch these edits, you'll see the person jump cut. And as they jump cut, your brain will tell you that the audio doesn't sound right. But if you close your eyes or if you just turn off the video and you listen to it, a lot of times it will sound the right way. A lot of my style does have to do with moving pretty quickly, but also just scrambling out of different positions.
Position and then, getting the dominant position on top. But I would like to say a lot of my style, on top.
Let's do that. We'll move this in, leave a little bit of a gap. Add a cut.
A lot of my style does
add a transition.
A lot of my style does have to do with a lot of like moving pretty quickly, but a lot of moving. Style does have to do with a lot of moving pretty quickly, but also
see the different inflection in his voice. Let me put that back together.
A lot of moving pretty quickly, but does have to do with a lot of moving pretty quickly.
See, the two inflections just don't match, so we got to find something else.
To do with a lot of like moving. Have to do with a lot of like moving pretty quickly, but also just a lot of like moving pretty. Does have to do with a lot of like moving quickly, but also
that
just
sounds pretty good.
A lot of my style does have to do with a lot of like moving quickly, but also just scrambling out of different positions.
Okay. Moving on. So we just continue this process until we get through the entire script. Okay, so when I'm here at the gym training 5:48, and we're going to take that through about 6:20. Now remember that our time code that we have marked on screen is lined up with our time code in the sequence so that we can just type in these times, but you can always keep an eye on this. Also, maybe you don't have burned in time code up here and you want to see what the time code track is on the clip. If you want to do that, you can come here and turn on overlays. If you're working with an H.264, there's a good chance that the video track is not going to show the right time and it's not going to match this track. So just keep that in mind. Let's go back here because I don't know what I'm doing. Whoops. All right, so when I'm here at the gym training, and so I'm trying to work with my outside game and work defense with my partners. 5:48, 5:48, 0-0, boom.
When I'm in here at the gym training, I don't necessarily train any harder or like try to hurt my teammates. It's more that I'm trying to make sure that my technique's pretty on point. So I'm drilling a lot of different positions, drilling a lot of different scenarios, and I'm making sure that I put myself in bad positions with my training partners. So starting bad positions that way I can work out of them rather than being on dominant playing my A game. So I'm always trying to work my outside game and work my defense with my partners.
All right, so that's where we need to go there. Copy that, and we'll drop it in here. Let's cut. All right, so when I'm here at the gym training,
when I'm in,
let's drop that.
When I'm in here at the gym training,
when I'm in here at the gym training, I'm drilling.
In here at the gym training,
I'm gonna give this a bit of a pause by adding one frame transition there.
Training, I don't necessarily train any harder or like try to hurt my teammates. It's more that I'm trying to make sure that my technique's pretty on point. So I'm drilling a lot of different pretty on point. So I'm at the gym training. I'm drilling a lot of different positions. So I'm drilling a lot of different positions in here at the gym training. So I'm drilling a lot of different positions. When I'm in here at the gym training, so I'm drilling a lot of different positions, drilling a lot of different scenarios, and I'm making sure that I put myself in bad positions with my training partners. So starting with my training partners. So start.
All right, so he's jumping into start. We might need to go.
Start in bad position.
I might need to find an I.
When I'm in here at the gym training, so I'm drilling a lot of different positions, drilling a lot of different scenarios, and I'm making sure that I put myself in bad positions with my training partners.
All right, so we need to find a good I. So if we follow, let's jump into our scramble king. I'm going to go to 548. Let's go into our transcript and let's find 548. Now I'm going to this point because I want to see where he says I, and he's going to be talking in a similar inflection. If we're at another part of the interview, he might be talking higher, he might be talking faster or slower or lower. It could be different. So if you start looking for words that you're missing in the same area that you're currently cutting, it's going to be a better chance that they're going to match his inflection better. So let's go to 550.
In training, I don't start.
I don't know if that one's going to work, but we're going to try it. I think the inflection might be off.
I start in bad position.
It's not bad.
I start in bad position.
That actually isn't too terrible. I think I'm going to leave it.
With my training partners, I start in bad positions. That way I can work out of them.
Yeah, that'll be fine. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. If you accidentally double click when you're in a multicam sequence, if you double click the audio by itself, it'll take you to that open timeline. But we don't need to do that. Let's go here, do 1, great.
With my training partners,
We need a +1.
Partners, I'd start in bad positions. That way I can.
And his eye is still pretty hot, so I'm going to pull that down maybe 4 decibels.
I'd start in bad positions. That way I can work out of them.
Maybe 3 decibels.
Rather than being on dominant and playing my A game. So I'm always.
Okay, so I always start in bad positions. That way I can work on them, going through my A game. So I'm always trying to work on my defense with my partners.
Always trying to work that my outside game and work my defense with my partners. My defense with my partners.
Okay, that'll work for me.
Training partners, I'd start in bad position.
Let's bring this in about there. Okay, get us another big gap. All right, and jump back into our script here. So let's see, different training partners. So when it comes down to everything, or when it comes down to competing or motivating me to come in every day. So 742.
When it comes down to everything,
Let's go ahead and get rid of that.
When it comes down to everything, or like when it comes down to competing or motivating me to come in every day, guys, it does come back to the fact that I do enjoy the whole learning aspect. Like there's always something new, there's always something different to learn from from the same position. But I think what motivates me the most is, I like to.
All right, so we lose it right there.
What motivates me the most is.
Okay, so let's copy this and we'll drag it in. Okay, see what this says. when it comes down to everything, or when it comes down to competing or motivating me in every day?
When it comes down to everything, or like when it comes.
All right, so he starts him hawing right there, so we need to fix that. Let's make this a little bigger.
Everything, everything, down to everything, or like when it comes down to competing or motivating me to come in every day, guys.
Competing or come in every day, it does come back to the fact.
Motivating me to come in every day, guys. Motivating me to come in every day, guys. Like it does. Motivating me to come in every day. It does come back.
Let's do that. This.
To come in every day. It does come. Competing or motivating me to come in every day. It does come back to the.
I think we need to move this out this way.
Come in every day. It does come back to the. Comes down to competing or motivating me to come in every day. It does come back to the.
Okay, so we're gonna unlink those. Woohoo! Whoopsies. And then we're gonna link these together. That's not what we wanted to do there. All right, link those two together. Bring it back over.
I'm in every day. It does come back to the fact.
You know, I did that. I don't think I like it.
Not the competing or motivating me to come in every day. It does come back to the fact that.
I think I'm gonna give that a bigger gap, actually.
Competing or motivating me to come in every day. It does come back to the fact that
I'm cool with that. All right, it does come back to the fact that I do enjoy the whole learning aspect. There's always something new, yada, yada, yada.
I do enjoy the whole learning aspect. Like there's always something new. There's always something different to learn from from the same position.
So let's fix up that flub.
Something new. There's always something different to learn from different to learn from the same position.
There we go. A little bit of a bobble, so I'm going to give that to one
different
transition.
To learn from the same position.
I'm going to give that a one frame. I'm going to give that a one frame transition.
Different to learn from the same position.
Nice. Let's cut that breath out. We don't want to hear that. We can let that run a little wild. And then we go into, I want to improve myself and become a better person. So let's go to 808.
Basis. Like if I want to improve myself, I want to improve myself and become a better person by competing or by training. And it has helped me over the years, whether I'm going through stress, stress with college or stress with work or just everyday stress that anybody can have. It does help me, and that's what kind of motivates me because it puts me in a better mindset and a better mood after training each day.
Cool. All right, let's grab this, drop it in here.
I want to improve myself and become a better person by
I want to improve myself and become a better person. So this says
learn from the same position.
Let's give it a bit of a gap so we know.
Same position. I want to improve myself and become a better person by competing. I want to improve myself and
let's get rid of save.
Improve myself and become a better.
Oops, lost the B.
Myself and become a better person.
One more frame.
Myself and become a better person by competing or by training. And it has helped me over the years, whether I'm going through stress, stress. And it has helped.
Let's get rid of the
training. And it has helped me over the.
Let's see, and that's what motivates me. So let's do this to switch things around. I'm going to do a match frame into here, and I'm going to type 823. All right.
You can have it does and
we will reverse match frame to where we need to go.
It does help.
And let's pull this back to our hands, and we can get rid of these things.
it does help me. It does.
So he runs his and it together, so we can just slide those two clips next to each other.
By training, it does help me, and that's what. It does help me, and that's what kind of motivates me, because it puts me in a better mindset and a better mood after training each day.
All right, I think that'll work. So we go into a transition into a new song. Okay, and now we're really starting to get to the end of this. So let's jump to 12:55. You know, a lot of people don't know. Oh, here's a great example of a frankenbyte. So we're going from 12 minutes and jumping back all the way to 8 minutes to make this sentence. So let's check it out. 12:55.
And most times I do, of course, say, yeah, there's, jiu-jitsu in Tennessee, but I feel like a lot of people don't.
There we go.
But I feel like a lot of people don't really.
All right, let's stick with that. We're going to give a big gap here.
But I feel like
let's see. So he says, a lot of people don't know.
A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't really.
Let's see. A lot of people don't really know that there's a family atmosphere aspect about it. So let's go. Don't know that there's a.
Think that there's jiu-jitsu out here, I guess, because. Think that there's jiu-jitsu out here, I guess, because it's mainly more of like a Music City area. But honestly, most of the jiu-jitsu that we see is from major cities, and a lot of people would say Nashville is not a major city yet, like All
right, so I think we've gone off the rails there.
A lot of people don't really.
All right, let's go see what's at this point. So 8:45.
When I started training at Tennessee Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy, probably about 8 years ago now, what I came to learn very quickly was the family atmosphere. Aspect about it,
Okay. So we need to find a. A lot of people don't know that, and there's a. So let's go see if we can search those two terms. So know that. Good, we got 4 options here. Okay, and let's look at this first one. That's going to be, if this is at 11:17, we're probably safe to do 11 seconds. So let's try that, or 11 minutes, excuse me.
What makes us, what makes our bond or our friendship, strong is because we can push each other and know that we need to push.
That'll work.
Know that we need.
So there's a know that. So we'll insert, paste that. And then we're also looking for, there's a. Okay, so that's going to be right around 13:35.
There's a lot of multiple.
Okay, so it's quick, but it's right there. There we go. And another insert paste. Let's see if we can make this work.
A lot of people don't really know that there's a
Let's see.
People don't really know that there's a. Don't really know that there's a family don't really know that there's a family atmosphere.
Let's pull that back here.
Don't really know that there's a family atmosphere.
That's almost there. Let's turn this off because that's bothering me.
A lot of people don't really know that there's a family atmosphere.
It's not bad.
A lot of people don't really know that there's a family atmosphere aspect about it.
Let's get rid of the
A lot of people don't really know that there's a.
Let's get rid of the really also.
A lot of people don't know that there's a family atmosphere aspect about it.
All right, so what's,
A lot of people don't know that there's a.
So both of these are a little rough. So again, let's just try to smooth it out with the transition.
A lot of people don't know that there's a family atmosphere.
I think we're also going to put one here.
A lot of people don't know that there's a family atmosphere aspect.
Let me split that one.
A lot of people don't know that there's a family atmosphere.
Good with that.
Don't know that there's a family atmosphere.
Let's move this over.
A lot of people don't know that there's a family atmosphere aspect.
Maybe slip this.
A lot of people don't know that there's a family atmosphere aspect about it. A lot of people don't know that there's a family atmosphere aspect about it.
Okay, not terrible. I think we can live with this.
A lot of people don't know that there's a family atmosphere aspect about it.
Perfect. So you can see from that, like when you're making frankenbytes, when you're trying to join these sentences together, you really just have to massage this stuff until it works. All right, let's keep going. There's a family atmosphere aspect about it. So when I came to the gym, 904.
When I first came into the store, when I first came into the store, everybody treated me like they knew me for multiple years. They all, welcomed me with open arms. And, over the years, I kind of, felt a part of the, felt part of the group. I felt like I was a part of the family. And
all right, little gap, add it here, and let's go cut it up.
When I first came into the store, everybody treated me like.
All right, so we see that he's saying store, and we also see here in the script that we need to go find the word gym. So.
When I first came into this store,
All right, let's go find gym. Okay, there's a lot. Okay, so whenever you come into the gym, so let's start at 2152 and see where we go.
Well, and honestly, one of the biggest things that I did find was, we leave our problems at the door whenever you come into the gym.
Great. And insert that here.
Come into this door, gym.
Don't know if it's going to work. I think the inflection might be off.
I first came into this gym.
Yep, not going to work. Okay. So let's keep going. So, all right, you know the gym.
All right, the gym is some. The gym is.
I think this isn't going to work because it doesn't end a sentence.
First came into this gym. Everybody treated me like.
It's better, but still not there. So interviewer. Let's see, gym. I wonder if we can find this if we put a period. What does that do? 3 of these. Okay, so let's talk about the gym. You come into the gym. Okay, so that's not going to work. So let's keep going. So let's go to 548.
When I'm in here at the gym training,
I think this one might be the one.
First came into this gym, everybody treated me like.
It's not perfect. Let's see if we can find one more. So let's talk about the gym. Whole gym became. All right, so let's try 857.
About it, Ray's very big about our gym becoming a.
All right, I'm gonna match frame into this, set an end marker, and then I'm just gonna replace clip on the word gym.
First came into this gym, everybody treated me like.
That's the one. Let's do that. Let's do this. Make it a 1 frame.
First came into this gym, everybody treated me like they.
I think that'll work. And we can go ahead and just turn that off. Okay, everybody treated me like. When I first came into the gym, everybody treated me like they knew me for multiple years. They all welcomed me with open arms, and over the years, I kind of felt like I was part of the family. All right, let's make that work.
Like they knew me for multiple years. They all welcomed me with open arms, and over the years, I kind of
And over the years, I kind of felt like I was part of the family.
over the years, I kind of felt a part of. I felt part of the group. I felt like I was a part of the family. Over the years, I kind of felt like I was a part of the family, and
I can live with that. That sounds good.
the years, I kind of felt like I was a part of the family, and part of the family.
Okay, let's get rid of that and so we're gonna make this like a 3-frame dissolve. See how that sounds.
I was a part of the family.
Perfect. Okay, coming back. Like I was part of the family. 10:55. We know that we need to push each other.
Joking after, but during the match it'll be intense, but we're always pushing each other, and I think that's what makes us, what makes our bond or very like our friendship, strong. Is we.
Did we miss something? So this said, we know that we need to push each other.
Together, we're gonna be joking after, but during the match it'll be intense, but we're always pushing each other, and I think that's what makes us, what makes our bond or very like our friendship, strong. Is because we can push each other and know that we need to push each other when it comes down to rolling. Each other and know that because we can push each other. We can push each other and know that we need to push each other when it. We can push each other and we can push each other and we know that we need to. We know that we need to push each other when it comes down to rolling with each other. So with each other. So.
All right. So with each other, this other right here doesn't have again the right inflection.
Push each other when each other. So. We need to push each other.
Do that. Get rid of that little S when he goes into the so. Maybe like a 2-frame dissolve.
We know that we need to push each other.
I'm gonna pull that back 1.
We know that we need to push each other.
Perfect. Okay, so we know that we need to push each other. I can roll hard with my training partners. Let's see. So that starts at 10:36.
Round. Like that's the biggest thing that I do love about it. Like I can roll hard with my, my buddy Sam or my buddy Ryan, and it comes down to it, and we're literally, pushing the pace or like grinding. We're literally trying to, beat the crap out of each other. However, at the end of the day, we can go back and literally go, get something to eat together. We're gonna be joking after, but during the match it'll be intense, but we're always pushing each other, and I think that's what makes us, what makes our bond or very like our friendship, strong. Is because we can push each other and know that we need to push each other when it comes down to rolling with each other.
All right, so we can just copy that whole thing and drag it in here. Okay, so we know that we need to push each other. I can roll hard with my training partners, maybe.
I can roll hard with my, my buddies. I can roll hard with my.
All right, let's go see what training partner sounds like at 10:11.
So when it comes down to my training partners, or especially
I don't know if that's
my training partners, my training partners.
Let's just insert this and see what it sounds like.
I can roll hard with my training partners.
Yep, there is no way. That inflection is way off. So let's just stick with his buddies.
Roll hard with my, my buddy Sam or my buddy Ryan. And it comes down to it, and we're literally,
If I can roll hard with my buddy Sam and Ryan. So let's do that. So we can roll hard with my buddy Sam and Ryan, and we're literally pushing the pace.
and it comes down to it, and we're literally down to it. And we're literally.
All right, so let's max this up 3. Add a transition here. Great. And we're gonna trim this up a little bit as well.
Hey, Ryan, and we're literally, pushing the. Buddy Ryan, and we're literally, pushing the pace or like.
Okay, great. So, and we're literally pushing the pace or like grinding, literally trying, to beat the crap out of each other. Sounds like fun.
Grinding, we're literally trying to, beat the crap out of each other. However,
let's get rid of this however. Don't need that, delete you. I'm gonna give this 1 frame.
The crap out of each other. At the end of the day, we can.
That's good there. I want to put one of these at the front.
At the end of the day.
So, at the end of the day, we can go back and literally be joking with each other.
We can go back and go, get something to eat together. We're gonna be joking after eat together. We're gonna be joking together. We're gonna can literally be joking after. Go back and literally be joking after. Go back and literally be joking after. But during after.
I'm not really sure what word that's supposed to be, but we're gonna. I think we're putting in match. Is that right? And we're literally gonna be touching paste. Be joking together. We're gonna be joking after our. Oh, look at that! We have a time code to look at. So let's go back there to 10:55.
Ray Casillas. I've been training under him for about 8 years now.
I didn't hit that right. Look at our time code. 10:55:00.
Joking after, but during the match will be in.
Oh, that's this right here.
But during the joking after match will be in. Joking after match will be in.
All right, so I think we can put that like there. Let's give us one of these.
Nearly be joking after our match will be intense, but we're after our match.
Okay, so after our match, but that's what makes our friendship.
Our match would be intense. A match would be intense, but we're always pushing each other, and I think that's what makes us,
So, but
after our matchup, that's what makes us,
that'll work.
After our matchup, that's what makes us. Joking after our matchup, that's what makes us, what makes our bond. That's what makes us. That's what makes.
Okay, and that's what makes our.
What makes.
Let's go ahead and cut that in.
Matchup, that. Joking after our matchup, that's what makes our bond very that's what makes our bond very.
But that's what makes our friendship strong.
Like our friendship, like our what makes our. That's what makes our friendship, strong is because, what makes our friendship strong is because that's what makes our friendship strong is because.
Okay, I'm gonna add that to all of these.
That's what makes our friendship strong is because.
Okay, that's what makes our friendship strong, and then I think we let them finish it out because we can push each other.
Strong is because we can push each other and know that we need to push each other. We can push each other.
Because we can push each other and know that we need to push each other when it comes down to rolling.
And know that we push each other and we can push each other and know that we need to push each other when it comes down to rolling with each other. So
all right, don't want to be too redundant there, so that's good. Okay, great, got that one. That was a hard one. Okay, let's wrap this thing up. I'm tired of this. I bet you are too. So, down to, I would say that jujitsu can save you in different ways. So 225300.
Proved, So I would say that. I would say that jiu-jitsu can save you in different ways depending on what you're really looking to get out of it. For me,
Really looking to get out of it. For me, it was looking too supportive.
I was looking for an atmosphere that was very comforting and supportive.
Big gap there. Okay, that's good.
I would say that jiu-jitsu can save you in different ways depending on what jiu-jitsu can save. Would say that jiu-jitsu can save you in different ways depending on what you're really looking to get out of it. For me, out of it.
Let's give him a little bit of space right here so that we can kind of sit on that. Slow that pace down.
To get out of it. For me, I was looking for to get out of it. For me, I was looking for an atmosphere that was very comforting and supportive. That was very comforting and supportive.
It helped my mindset.
And it helped my mind, and it helped my mindset and get away from everything. And for others, it might help you, you build the confidence in just overall yourself, because this is gonna test your limits in jiu-jitsu and probably, help you out with your life decisions in the world, outside of here. But outside of here.
Okay.
And it helped my mindset. It helped my mindset and get away from everything. And for others, it might. For others, it might help you, you build the confidence and just might help you might help you build the confidence and just overall yourself, because this is gonna test your limits in in jiu-jitsu and probably help you out with your life. Test your limits and probably help you out with your life decisions in the world outside of here.
Let's try to. I'm gonna leave the knows just in case we want to finish on him. The editor, when they jump into this, can choose to pull that out. But that wraps up our A roll. So let's pull this, zoom out, and there you are. That is your paper cut from the script to the screen. I know it was a long process, but that's what editing is. You got to take these sound bites, all of these chunks, and make this guy sound as good as he possibly can so that we make an entertaining video. All right, guys, moving on. In part 9, we're looking at overcutting, cleaning up dirty footage.